Why should you care about this? Why should you help young people to prepare for this technology? Well, it's inevitable. It's inevitable, and that it's very clear across different aspects, different arenas of professional ways that people contribute to the world. It's artificial intelligence is going to affect absolutely every aspect of life for youth, for adults, for everybody. If they're interested, let them be interested, and encourage their interest. Be curious about what they're doing. Find them additional resources, like all of that. The other thing is, if they're not curious about it, then they don't have to you also don't have to force it on them. Because if they're not curious about it, then it's not how they're going down that path. It probably will happen to those particular individuals who are not curious about AI, in the sense that quote, like, we don't want to live in a future where AI happens to us. It will happen to some people, because some people will not go out of their way to figure it out. And that's just what it is. And you can also encourage intersectionality, encourage interdisciplinary studies. Encourage interdisciplinary studies because maybe they're not coders, maybe they're philosophers, or maybe they're into fashion or art or gaming, or mental health and advocacy and politics. Whatever it is, their arena, they can approach AI through a critical lens, because it's not supposed to replace them or their interests. It's really just an enhancer, a tool that we can use to further boost what we do, what we're good at, how we use our time, because it's going to stay, because it matters, and because we want young people to be prepared for their environment, for the economic reality. Thing number 2 is what, right? So what do you do to help young people prepare? Feed their curiosity. And you can do this through connecting them to people, places, and things. For people, you want to look for people who are aligned with what your young person is particularly into about AI, right? Like, what questions do they have? What fears do they have? What sparks their excitement and curiosity about that technology? Connect them to people who are related to what they're already interested in, what they're already good at, to further refine and grow and develop who they are. Then once you find that person, you'll want to reach out to them and connect with them and set up a conversation. If you feel like you want to keep the conversation written, then you can ask a few questions, or just send a letter of appreciation for their work, and just connect with those professionals and thought leaders on those subjects. Good to connect, it's good to know people, it's good to collaborate. These things are important. We don't live in a vacuum. So connect them to people, connect them to places. And when I say places, I do mean literal, like, geographic locations, but also programs. So parks, museums, libraries, particular programs at those museums and libraries and parks, AI events, right? Conferences, especially for young people, or just conferences generally. Take them to places and then have them debrief and review and reflect with AI, because you want to, the most important thing here is that you want to teach them and facilitate for them to prompt well. Because the thing about AI is it doesn't work unless you work it. Much of any tool is like that. And so you need to be able to know how to put in the right details, the right information, the right phrasing of a question, right? Because you can even lead that intelligence on, just as you could lead a person on with a particular phrasing of a question, oh, that was really good, right? Oh, that was, yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was, whatever. You can set up the response. And so there are all sorts of things to know about prompting that are really interesting. So have them explore people, places, and while they're doing this, they can debrief and reflect using the technology. And also things, like physical objects. And have them think about what's related, what's similar, what's different. Have them really critically think about books, websites, tools, other games, games, and have them, again, interdisciplinary thinking. Have them look for books that are about AI. Have them look for websites that are about AI, programs that are about AI, tools that might play into how AI is structured and exists and operates and is possible. Games that have to do with intelligence or learning, pattern recognition. Like, these are the things that make up AI that are connected to the educational materials, people, places, and things that you could provide to your young person and say, hey, like, and you're not forcing any of this. Like, I want to be very clear. These are all just options, choices that your young person can be like, oh, that looks interesting, I'm going to check that out. Or radio silence. Like, they can ghost you or just say, no, thank you. I don't think that's interesting to me. That's A-okay. In fact, that's great. That's them making a decision. That's them practicing their confidence. It's awesome. We want that. Okay. Okay, finally, how to stand out. It's really simple, really. Just be human. Be you and be human. We don't want to go to technology for everything. You know, in the same way that in your kitchen you'll use various tools and not just one tool. Like, you're human. Part of what's amazing about that is that you can diversify your usage of tools. Phenomenal. That's good. And it's the key too. Like, okay, so I'm going to pull from a few people here: Seth Godin, Rory Sutherland, Bozoma St. John, and Arlen Hamilton. And I'm going to mention some of what they talk about in terms of standing out. So Seth Godin, purple cow. Like, if you do or see or experience something interesting, like a purple cow, sharing that is what's going to stand out. Because in a world where everything is very similar and kind of duplicated of each other, you know, nature is self-similar. Like, so you want to do your best to capture those moments that are very unique and rare and share that. That's how you stand out. Rory Sutherland talks about the magic of not being rational, not depending on logic, not even really going there at all, actually. Just feeling and sensing and having ideas and surprising people. You know, he talks a lot about stories, and he talks a lot about being weird and weird stories. Things that are kind of funny, things that are kind of like, oh, that's unexpected, you know. Rory Sutherland, be outstanding, right? Seth Godin, be extraordinary. Or maybe that flipped that. Bozoma St. John, marketing extraordinaire that she is, she talks a lot about urgency. In fact, she wrote a book on it. So trust that sense of urgency and your intuition. Like, be in the present moment so that you can listen to yourself. And these are all things, by the way, that I'm telling you as you, and it's good advice, but these are things that you want to say and explain to your young person explicitly, and like have conversations around being remarkable, being extraordinary, using feeling and emotion and story as opposed to just logic and reason, right? I mean, they're all useful. Trusting your urgency, going at your own pace, though, at the same time, and trusting your intuition, being fully you. Arlen Hamilton talks about how if you're authentic to your true self, then the right people will find you. I really love that. And I think, again, in a world where everyone is trying to be everyone else, the best thing you can do is be yourself. And how that happens in a really positive and confident way is that you and that young person, everyone under this goddamn sun is choosing for themselves. That we are all deciding for ourselves according to our own heart, mind, body, whatever, spirit, what it is that we do, what it is that we believe, what it is that we say, where are we in the world. I hope that was helpful in terms of thinking through how to help young people prepare for AI, how to stand out, how to help them to stand out, and to utilize the technology, to learn about the technology. And if you want additional support, Off the Beaten Path provides one-on-one support and guidance for learners of all ages. So reach out with whatever is your goal or your learner's goal, and we can talk about it.